What's up, guys? Chris Farr here, Sold Out Servant. In today's video, we had an opportunity to interview a young lady who is actually utilizing the skills that we teach here on the channel. I see all these self-help gurus on life insurance, financial services, infinite banking. I say, you know what, let's bring a real life experience, a real actual client that's utilizing these skills to build wealth for herself. So in this interview, you'll see a young lady who actually took an IUL, leveraged the life insurance concept of infinite banking, put money out of the policy to invest into real estate. If you're saying, man, Chris, I've been looking for a way to leverage life insurance. I hear about infinite banking, Waka Flocka, all these videos. How are people actually doing it? This is from a real person in real life who is not in the insurance industry. She's an engineer, and what she does in life, she's actually in technology, but she's somebody saying, hey, I'm a Gen Z. I want to build wealth. I'm gonna buy real estate and use life insurance. So that's you. You're saying, man, I want to learn that concept. Check out this video. Esther, how you doing?
Good, Chris.
So welcome to the Search to Earn channel here. Today we're here to talk about some wealth building principles. You had a recent accomplishment in your life that took place, and I really want the followers, subscribers to really understand some of the things you've done in your life and how it's impacted you. And because we've been on this agenda the last couple of weeks, really the last month or so, about wealth building principles, leveraging life insurance, infinite banking concepts. And I shot a video not too long ago about a client, right, who leveraged an IUL with an infinite banking concept to purchase AIRBNB properties. And I said he to hide your identity, but it's obviously not a he, it's you, right? You're female. And so before we get into that though, I want the people to kind of know who you are, your background. So Esther, let us know your background, your family, where you're from, and we'll go from there.
Okay, well, my name is Esther. I was born and raised in Cameroon, and just there for about 12 years. So I moved to the United States when I was 12. I did middle school, high school, and college, and essentially background. I think after high school, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, and of course, everyone's like, IT, that's where the money is at. And so I went to school, studied IT, and kind of somewhere in there, I was like, oh, I don't know if that's what I want to do, but I was too far in, and I had to just go ahead and do it and finish it. And so really coming out, I think that was 2020, the pandemic, as we all know, and just trying to pave my way into a career in the IT industry. And yeah, eventually I made it through after a couple of months. And yeah, unless you have any specific questions.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've heard in the immigrant culture, in order to be successful, either an engineer, a doctor, or a lawyer. Does that hold true to your family at all?
Those were my options.
Really?
Those were the options. A lawyer, which is, I was kind of paving more towards that, but I'm just really grateful for my dad who guided me towards the IT industry. But it was, lawyer, doctor. I wasn't going to do the doctor, so engineer, that's where I fell.
Absolutely. So right now you're operating in the IT world. What do you do in IT more specifically? Are you an engineer or you're an engineer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's right, okay.
Yeah, so I work as a cloud engineer. Essentially, we help companies manage or host their resources in the cloud, specifically with AWS cloud engineering. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so obviously, if you're watching this right now, you understand what took place. But I want you to share with us. So before we go into leveraging life insurance, all that kind of stuff, talk to me about what took you down this path, because you're working as a cloud-based engineer, making pretty good income for your age in your early 20s. And what made you say, okay, cool, I want more. I want to build wealth. I want to invest. I want to grow wealth. What made you go down that path?
And it's just the realization of where I come from and the people that are depending on me, and the people that I really just had to come through for. And like I mentioned, I am from Cameroon. I have a family there, and at some point it really hit me that though I was 12 years old when I left, and everyone's like, that's good for you, bye, go do good, go to school and everything. And I just really came to the realization that I may have been 12 and I could have been going for me, but at the end, or just not at the end, but throughout that process, I'm really doing it for them. And they're part of why I'm really going here. It's a concept. Like, God doesn't just send you. I don't know how to really explain it. I have people back there I can support that are depending on me. Exactly. And so I know that even when I was 12, I was leaving Cameroon for a reason. And a lot of family members have tried to leave and come out here for a better life. It just hasn't worked out that way. So just being here and realizing that, hey, I have a brother, I have a grandfather, a grandmother, that I can really just eliminate that struggle. That
Are they back home in Cameroon?
Yes, I actually grew up with my grandparents, my dad's parents, but they passed away in 2021. And so I think that's really part of my regret. I was like, I just growing and being, I'm still on the journey to where God wants me to be. And it's like they never got to see that. However, I still have a lot more people that I can still support. And yeah, I think that was really the realization. And also just being here with my parents in college. My mom was working however job to support me. At some point, she would go to work in the day, come back at night. My dad is going to work in the night, coming back in the day. And just seeing that, I didn't want them to have to do that unless they wanted to.
Got it.
Yeah, so I wanted that to be a choice for them. And I know that if I could do that for them, I wanted to. And so I had to want more for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I agree. I love how you said, because what I get from you is a sense of gratitude for those who came before you, those coming after you, and you wanted more for you to do more for them. Absolutely. And so obviously you could say, hey, I have a degree, I'm doing pretty well, I'm a cloud-based engineer, I can pay my bills, buy some nice things here, buy some nice clothes, eat good food, whatever it may be, right? But to be satisfied will be a lack of gratitude for those who paved the way for you. I think whether you're an immigrant or not, I think a lot of us fall into a boat sometimes. We're like, hey, we want to do more for our family, maybe more for want to retire our parents, take care of our kids. That's so unique, and I think it's honorable of you to know that, okay, cool, God's blessed me with the opportunity to come from Cameroon to America. I don't take it lightly. I'm gonna perform and maximize the talents God gave me. And so obviously you found a way, looking into different ways to bring additional income streams in, right? And you seem to come across Airbnbs being a way to go about doing it. So tell me about that journey. How did you choose that? I think I want to dabble in some Airbnbs. I'm in my early 20s, I can do it. Why not?
First, whenever I travel nowadays, I'm not really looking at hotels and stuff, so I'm looking at Airbnb. But I never really thought about it like that would be something I would do. It's just, when I'm traveling, I'd rather get an Airbnb. But I think back in 2020, when I just left college and being in that space before I actually dove into my career, I was just open and I started being introduced to a lot of opportunities, one of which was with PHP agency, and really diving into that, being around everyone, being around people that they just have a different mindset and they know what they're going after and they have goals and they're reading, and it was just inspiring to me, and I strive to do things like that as well. And so again, I went on social media, kind of created a business account, and doing that, I also try to follow other business accounts, and the environment just allowed me to open my mind and just, like we always say, keep your options open. And so really just surfing the Instagram, I came across this account really talking about a 20-year-old doing Airbnb and making six figures. I'm like, hold up. Yeah. But she said 20 or 22. I'm like, wait, that's almost my age. Yeah. Let me see what's up with that. And I just registered for a free session where they're just really talking. And I sat there and I listened to them. I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. And I started thinking, okay, this is what I have coming in. This is what and start like, okay, if I give it this couple of months, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. So really, I just think it was the environment that exposed me to be much more open-minded into building wealth in different avenues. That led me really to that channel that gave birth to that idea.
Wow, you gotta love the day we live in, because as for 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there is no social media like that in that capacity. We aren't looking at videos about Airbnbs, and I see guys doing Turo now, and I see guys like, there's so much information on the internet that's at our fingertips on our smartphones, and our parents didn't have that. And so I think one of the biggest challenges around wealth, I believe, is that there's been a lack of representation and access to wealth 20 years ago. Now it's like anybody can open their phone, open up their IG, go to their stories and see people who are constantly telling you how to build wealth. Like the information's out there. But I think the environment you were in kept you open-minded to it and the possibilities. And so talk to me a bit about that process now. So you're looking at Airbnb rentals and you get this crazy idea to say, hey, I saved some money up, have some cash in the account. Now, traditionally, you save money up for a down payment for a property. What do? You take the cash and you put the down payment, closing costs for the property, but you decided to go a different route. So talk to me about that route you took and why and how you were informed about it.
So really, I was just talking to a colleague here at the PHP agency headquarters here in Maryland, and yeah, he told me about the idea, and I had been in the industry now for 2 years, and I didn't know about it. You don't know what you don't know, and so immediately I got in contact with you to kind of help me see how we can set that up with the funds I have, and yeah, and eventually that's the route I took.
All right, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So some of the audience watching has no clue what you're talking about. They're like, what the heck? Use your money twice. What does that mean? Obviously, if you watch my video about Airbnb rentals and how to go about doing it, but from your point of view, can you explain the process from maybe first contact with me about it, discussing it, kind of structuring it for you, and doing the application to it being approved and you getting funds? Like paint the picture of, I'm like brand new, I want to buy some property. I got some cash. I got 10 grand, say that I got 15 grand, 20, I have 30, I have $100,000, right? What was the process from first contact with me discussing structuring it to you pulling money out and funding to purchase those properties?
I think first I definitely try to inquire on my own. I called some companies, and I quickly realized that maybe that's not how life insurance is really structured, and not every life insurance company gives you the opportunity to put money in and take it right back out. And that's when I was like, oh, Chris, I've heard about this and I don't know who's doing it or how I'm supposed to go about it, but I want to do it. And then I think that's when you introduced me to National Life Group, and we pretty much started talking. And I think it really, when it comes to funds, and it's I think something you just have to be transparent about with your agent. Hey, this is what I got, this is what I want to do, and how do we go about that? And so we quickly met, and I think you showed me an illustration and how much I would put in, how much I would get right back out. So there was a lot of transparency and just clarity of exactly what's going to happen. And so after that, we went ahead to start submitting the application. And once it was submitted, it was, hey, Esther, you got approved. I'm like, you just submitted. It was like instantly.
It was the same day.
Yes, it was instantly. I was like, oh, for real? That was fast. Okay, can I take the money now? I'm joking.
I need the money now. Same day.
Yeah, but so I got approved, and then I guess the insurance company started working on what they do.
The policy package.
Yes, exactly. So they started working on that, and within just a matter of days, everything was set and ready for me to, hey, excuse me, I'd like to take out a loan on my policy. And that was that. And after taking out the loan, I was able to put that into the property. And
How was the process of taking the loan out? Did you have to fax paperwork over the National Life Group, do a Morse code, send 10 emails? Was it hard getting access to the money?
No, I think I simply called. It's like, hey, this is my policy number. I'd like to take out a loan. They're like, okay, cool. This is how much you can take out right now. I'm like, okay, that's super cool. So what next? And they just sent me a form to fill, and it was pretty straight to the point. What's your name? What's your address? How much do you want out? And I'm like, yeah, this. And then they processed it, and within 3 to 5 business days, the money hit my account. And I'm like, cool.
That's pretty cool. And what's crazy about it, there's also an app to do it. You call, you wouldn't even, I said, just call them. You got to make my way. So there's also an app you can do the process. So you put the money out. Now, of course, I'm a professional agent, been doing this for 10 years. I really want the audience to understand this. So you take the money, 30 grand, you put into an account, put some money into an account, right? You put some money into the account, you put money out a couple of days later to purchase the property.
Why not just use cash? Why go through all this extra work and pay for life insurance and cost of insurance fees? Why would you do that? What's the benefit to you?
Yeah, I think there's something in life insurance, or there's something that is a lot of people are becoming more aware about, is IUL, which is Index Universal Life, and infinite banking, being your own bank and leveraging that concept. I think that the idea of using my money twice, it had a good ring to it. Like, I got to do that. That's it. So, and it made sense once it was explained to me, like, hey, okay, I have this amount of money. I want to purchase a property. If I use it and I purchase the property, I bought it and it's gone, the money's gone. But with using an index account or in the IUL to do that, I was able to rather take the money, put it in a life insurance policy, have them give me a loan, use the loan and pay right back, purchase the property, while the insurance policy is still working for me and accumulating interest.
On the full amount of cash you had in there.
Yes, so I already took it, I used it, but it's still working.
You bought an asset with that money.
Exactly.
It's going to build well for you also.
Exactly, and I think really the best part, yes, you take it out as a loan, and that's where the infinite banking kind of comes in, or just being your own bank, and it's your choice whether or not you want to pay that back. And I was like, I don't know if I want to pay that. I might not pay that, not right now, but just knowing that you don't have to pay that back, it's like borrowing from yourself. And so, hey, I'm using it twice and I don't have to pay it back. What do I have to lose?
100%. I meet so many people in their 20s and 30s, even 40s, that borrow from a 401k that has to be paid back. Now, within a certain amount of time, and if you lose that, leave that job, default on that, it's a 10% federal penalty, income taxes, state taxes. Now, what's the taxes on the money taken out? Are you paying taxes on that monany? So what's the, no, it's tax free. So what's the taxes on the money coming out? Is there a tax on that money, or?
No, I think just like being in this environment, because I'm an agent myself, and I said, you don't know what you don't know. But one thing I did know, that when your money is being tied to life insurance, you have access to it tax free. So that's another plus. So I'm like, okay, tax free, use it twice, don't have to pay it back. Yeah,
That's
so
pretty
it
cool.
sounded all good.
So paint the final picture for me. What's your plans with this property? Did you buy it in like Baltimore, up and coming development? And did you buy it, like, we're in the DMV area, Corey. So where'd you buy the property? Don't give us the address. Where'd you buy the property at? What's your plans with the property?
I started doing my own research, and I came across a tool where I can put in different cities in Maryland and see how much income they're making from Airbnb. It's actually called AIRBNB. And coming to doing that, I saw that the city of Annapolis, you actually make about $5,000 to $7,000 a month doing Airbnb there. And $5,000 to $7,000, that's giving about like a 3-bedroom, 3 baths type of, like having 6 people or 5 people in the house. And so I was like, I'm doing that. That makes the most money. So let's look for that property that does that. And essentially, I went into Annapolis, looked for 3 bedrooms to 3 bath, and I really just say God backed me up. And it was a lot. There were a lot of properties that were much more than I had, but somehow this one, it just fit. It made sense. And so we went ahead and we did the home buying process. And now what I'm doing right now is starting to paint the house, really make it into, because when you're doing business, you have to look at your competition. And so I'm like, okay, I have to look good too. So it was a family home, and so we're trying to make it in some way that it's a home away from home, just a different vibe. And so we're painting the walls, removing carpets, putting in hardwood, and really just renovating and furnishing, put a touch of color, make it like, oh, I want to stay there. That's cool. So
and the IUL is funding all that for you?
The IUL, it got me. I really did it as much as for the down payments, but in doing the Airbnb, I learned that you had to build an LLC to do that. So I did an LLC. I used my EIN number to register for business credit cards, checking cards. So while I did use the insurance to do the down payment on the house and everything.
Using business funding to...
Exactly. I'm using my business credit cards to go ahead and finalize everything in the house.
I love it. So The last question here. Paint us a picture, ballpark, because people here want to build wealth. They want to find ways. You're leveraging life insurance to build wealth. From a cash flow perspective, I'm a big Robert Kiyosaki fan. Obviously, you don't know the exact dollar amount, but what do you predict range-wise of what this investment vehicle would do for you cash flow-wise monthly?
Monthly, so I haven't yet, because we're still renovating.
Of course.
I haven't yet put the property on Airbnb. However, I did just go like, hey, let me see what. So I went ahead and put, hey, I have this property. I want to put an Airbnb. About 5 guests can stay in there. It's in the city of Annapolis. And then it just said, hey, you can make about $275 a night for 7 nights. I'm like, hey Siri, what's 375? 275 times 7? So it gave me the weekly amount and the monthly amount. So it's looking like $7K, and that's if every week goes good. But going into this, there'll be ups and downs, high weeks and low weeks.
So moving 4 to 7.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
7K.
Yeah.
Takes care of the mortgage, takes care of the utilities, and some extra left to start maybe saving for the next property, or I'm actually trying to fix the basement. So whatever is left over, we're putting into the basement. And so it's an Airbnb on the top and a
rental down below.
Exactly.
So bringing in extra income, I love it. As you wrap this up, really just talk to the audience here. If I'm somebody watching this video, I make decent income, and I'm middle class, upper middle class, right? But I don't believe I can step away from the rat race one day. I don't believe I can get to a point to where I can build wealth and leverage wealth. What words of encouragement would you give to an Esther who's watching this right now, who is not part of the environment you're a part of, doesn't have the belief you've had poured into you, hasn't seen people doing it? How would you encourage her that she can also take advantage of what America offers her, take advantage of the systems, building wealth, life insurance, to even start her own business one day, or maybe go into Airbnb rentals? What advice would you give her?
If you want to do something, I would say you need a plan. Go ahead and do it. But I think that it really takes a certain amount of discipline. I think once I knew this is what I wanted to do, I really had to restructure my finances. I know a lot of people are paying for Netflix, $14.99, Apple Music, $4.99, and those little things, they do chip in. I think what I had to do really for me was cut down on those expenses. I literally didn't pay for anything except Audible, because I really wanted to listen to books. So the only thing I really had financially I was taking care of was car insurance and necessary bills, and the rest was all being poured into the goal that I had. So I think if you know what you want to do, whether it's Airbnb or whatever it may be, there are just some things you're going to have to give up and to go ahead and pursue that. And so do a plan, sit down with somebody you trust, set it out, hey, this is what I have, what do you think? And shoot it. And it's now or never. And I think when I was purchasing my property, there was some advice like, hey, go ahead and wait. This price might drop, this might come up. And you never know. If that's something you want to do, go ahead and do it now. And it's always a risk. You might win, you might lose, but one thing's for sure, you're going to learn. And just go for it.
Esther, thank you. We appreciate you for your time. And I know that you're going to inspire many people to do what you've accomplished so far. And I want to thank you for being able to share your testimony today on this channel, because like I said, more people need to know what's possible out there. Somebody inspired you through watching YouTube videos, and they reach just paying it forward. So guys, tonight as we wrap up, if you're someone saying, man, Chris, man, I'm getting value from this, man. I can see myself doing this, right? Our purpose of this channel is to bring value to our audience around serving others, building wealth, accomplishing success in your life. So if you got value from today's video, guys, do not forget to subscribe to the channel here. Follow us on Instagram at SoldOutServant, guys. And if you have a comment in the comment section below. Until next time, guys, God bless. We'll see you soon. Thank you.